Welcome to the Team Effort Conference Line. The conference is in presentation mode. Your line is muted. This call is being recorded.
Have qualified for the dinner, for the exclusive dinner, for the 10 extravaganza. Go to your back office and register. There's a button back there. Click on it. Make sure your name is in the list so you will receive a golden ticket on the day of arrival to attend the exclusive dinner with Mel and Amy Gill and Sam and all of the great leaders in Team Effort Network. I'm so excited. Let me bring on my business partner, Pastor Jill. Are you there, sir?
I am here. Yes, I am. I tell you.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Excitement is in the air.
And you're right. You're absolutely right. You can Google all you want. You're not going to get it. So, just take the talking points that Mel had shared with us that a new market that has not been, I won't say discovered, but has not been developed. It has not been used largely in network marketing. A product that is going to be by itself could be $1 billion industry. These are all great talking points to get people ready. You know, it's really like, talking to people like we did, Pastor Denise, when we came back from that secret meeting in California. And we came back and we didn't know what we were going to, but when we found out about it, we came back and started telling people about it. But prior to going to that meeting, we knew that there was something happening. It's like, Mel and him, they're up to something, they're talking about a new product, something's coming, and we start talking it up. So it's like going back to that day where you can now start talking up this new thing. Start talking from the bullet points, $1 billion industry, product created, first to market, no one else has done it. That right there gets people excited, gets people geared up. Wow. I could be in something that's kind of going to be first to market. You can start building a team just from the information he gave us on the call. So let me tell you, get excited about doing that because there's a lot of people out there who want to be a part of a company that's bringing things into the marketplace and that they're first to market.
You got that right, Pastor Dale. And I'm telling you, with these new, what's exciting about this new movement, this new project, is that we are going to receive special training tools in regards to this. And Mel said that it's going to be something that's going to be easy to sample. So it's like I was trying to picture this. These TCPs are going to be a whole lot different than what they've been doing. I'm kind of seeing seminars more like health seminars taking place because if what we have is making health more convenient, this is definitely going to be something that's going to be in demand and something people are going to want to get their hands on. So I'm trying to tell people, get off Google. Stop trying to worry yourself to death figuring out you're not going to get it. It's going to blow your mind, but Google's not going to tell you what it is. So stay off Google. Just get out there and start sharing. Tell your guests and friends something powerful is coming up the pipe. That's all you have to do. Well, family, this is Wednesday. We have this beautiful young lady that comes to the call with us every Wednesday to share some wonderful, exciting things in regards to our praise. Now, what I can't wait is after next week when she said, when it's exposed what the new project is, if she comes back and give us the lowdown on that. I'm just excited about that because we're going to get first-hand training on that new product from Mel and Amy Gill. So I know that we're going to be equipped and just ready to run with this one. But let us welcome to the call Miss Shakina Day. Shakina, are you there?
I'm here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great this morning. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Doing wonderful. Excited.
Is there excitement in the air or what? There's so much excitement in the air. I don't know what's going to happen when we all come together next Saturday in Las Vegas and all that excitement under one roof just kind of goes off.
Exactly.
So, lady, I know that you've heard about the new product, so I'm just trying to figure out what it is. But what I do want you to go ahead and share with us today, what are you bringing to our awareness today?
Okay. Today, I want to talk a little bit about fatigue. Because, of course, I know a lot of people, sometimes we're so busy. We go throughout our day-to-day lives, doing so many things. And then at the end of the day, we're tired, we're fatigued, we're drained. The next day when we feel like we can't do anything else, we can't go on. So I just want to bring a little information to light regarding that. a lot of things that we actually consume play a major part in how we actually feel on a day-to-day basis. And it's not only the things that we actually consume, but it's actually, the things that we're actually taking part of on a day-to-day basis. So one thing that can play a major part in fatigue or even chronic fatigue is the things that we consume as far as what are we eating, and I talked a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago as far as sugar and caffeine, and how that plays a negative effect on the body, to the extreme. And if you're not aware that sugar and caffeine can make you crash, it can make you feel so tired. A lot of times we consume foods, that actually will make us feel more tired because of the simple fact is they are higher on the glycemic index. Now, the glycemic index is basically a chart that measures how fast the foods that we consume convert into sugar when it's breaking down into the body. So basically, sugar is used. Sugar is converted to glucose within the body. So therefore, everything that we eat, it turns into glucose and used for energy. But the rate at which it turns and converts into glucose, that's where it lines up on the glycemic index. So something that contains high sugar content, as far as like a Debbie cake or, say for instance, breads, may be higher on the glycemic index versus something far as like a sweet potato or mashed potato, or actual potato itself may be lower on the glycemic index. So that will actually play a major part as to how fast will it convert into sugar. And the faster it converts into sugar, when your insulin kicks in, it's going to bring that sugar level down, that glucose level down to balance out. Well, that's where you get, if it converts into sugar faster and quickly, then of course that's how you feel tired. You may eat something that's full of sugar. Kids, when they eat sweets, they are full of energy. As soon as they start eating, shortly after, it's just like they're running all over the place. Well, that's what your cells do within the body. Soon as you eat something that's high on the glycemic index or contains a high amount of sugar, then of course that's what your cells do. Your body just moves so quickly. And then, of course, you get crash at the end. Whereas you want to actually eat things and consume things that are lower on the glycemic index. So that means consuming foods that contain no sugar or less sugar, containing foods that contain more fiber. Those are the types of things that you want to consume because they're lower on the glycemic index. Therefore, it doesn't convert into sugar as quickly, and then you'll have a sustained energy throughout the day until the next time you eat. So you won't have a fluctuation of glucose in the blood and then a quick drop in glucose levels. So you're up and down throughout the day if you're not eating the right things. Another thing that can play a major part in fatigue in the body is the amount of sleep that we're getting a day. A lot of times people, myself, I know, at one point I wasn't getting enough rest and I was so tired. I was so fatigued. I couldn't go throughout the day without, I work at night in a laboratory. You know what I'm saying? I have 3 kids, a husband, trying to run my own business, and I work in corporate America. So therefore, trying to handle all those things, I wasn't taking care of myself, getting the proper rest that I needed. And actually before spraying and before I was introduced to the sprays, I was always tired. I was to the point where, I was really out of it. I was working, and I love my job because I love helping people, and that's what it's about. It's about helping people. To me, I'm more concerned about helping someone else than I am myself. But at the end of the day, I had to realize if I don't take care of myself, I cannot help anyone else. So therefore, I was introduced to the sprays, and, before spraying, I was falling. It got so bad to the point where I was falling asleep on the way home. And I lived like maybe 10 or 12 minutes away from my job, and that's bad. I was falling asleep, and that's dangerous, And so I was introduced to the sprays. I started spraying, and immediately I saw a change. The first night before I went in, I slept maybe 4 or 5 hours that day, and I started spraying. I sprayed that night. I sprayed all the sprays, and before I went in, and immediately I saw a change. And everybody was asking, like, "Okay, Shakina, you didn't fall asleep tonight. What did you eat? It had to be something that you ate." And I was like, "No, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't anything that I ate. It was actually these sprays." And when I told them that, their eyes got big, and they were like, wanting to know more information about it. So that right there, I realized at that point, like, these actually work. The actual route that it's not about, vitamins are vitamins, minerals are minerals, but the actual form that it's in is what makes it powerful. It's 98% absorbent, and when I tell people that, they're like, okay, how is that? They're looking at me like, how is that possible? And they're not realizing that, okay, when you take a pill, anything in the pill form, then of course you're only absorbing maybe 15% of that, maybe. And that's because the actual route that it has to go through, the processes that it has to go through. At first, the digestive process starts in your mouth. So as soon as you pop that pill in your mouth, the digestive process begins. Then, of course, when you swallow, then it goes to the stomach. And then, of course, it goes through the gastrointestines and all of those. It goes through that process, the digestive process within the stomach and the intestines. Then, of course, then it's transferred to the liver. It has to be filtered through the liver. And by the time it gets to the bloodstream, you only have about 15% or less that's being absorbed. Whereas the actual spray is going straight into your mouth, which has glands. So it's directly connected to capillaries, which is directly connected to your bloodstream. So that's how you get a quick response. And the absorption rate is so high because of the route that is being taken. And of course, the molecular size of every time you spray, the actual molecule size that's being sprayed into your mouth. That's how it's being absorbed quickly. So, when people look at that and they're like, okay, wow, that's amazing. And once you tell them, explain to them, okay, this is in the physician's desk reference, as well as this is a higher absorption rate than injections. And once they hear that, then, it's all, they're open to understand and wanting to find out more information because, this is actually the best route that can actually be taken. Another thing, how much do you exercise? I talked briefly about this, making sure that you're staying active, making sure that you're moving around. If you don't do anything but 25 jumping jacks a day, that's better than sitting on a couch and doing nothing. Always continue to stay active because the more you're active, the more you're going to have more energy, and the more you're going to strengthen up those muscles. You're going to strengthen because your body is consumed of muscles. So therefore your heart is a muscle. So therefore you have to stay active. Stay active. That's only going to help you in so many areas. My thing is if you have, aches and pains, we have a spray for that. We have a spray that can help you with inflammation. We have a spray that actually can help you, with if you're having aches, pains in your body. I had quite a few people use the sprays. Even my mother used the spray. She used the Super 10 and she loves that one because she fell a while back, a couple of years ago, and then she fell again, while at work walking, and her knees started to swell. She was having that swelling in her knees. So when we introduced her to the spray, the first thing we gave her before her shipment came in was the Super 10. So she started spraying. She was like, oh, this is awesome. This works because that alleviated that inflammation in her knee. And the inflammation is what brings on the pain because you're putting that inflamed area is putting pressure on all these ligaments, on your joints, on your vessels, all of that. And that's what causes the actual pain, the inflammation within the body. So Super 10 actually helps with that. The 5-HTP and the Super 10 also helps with weight loss. So there's so many things all of these sprays have so many wonderful areas that they can help with within the body. But you just have to be open and willing to say, okay, I'm going to try this. I'd rather try something that I know I'm going to absorb most of all of it versus try something that, everybody uses on a day-to-day basis and it's been out for, years and, decades, to the point where, you're not absorbing everything that you need from that item. Deficiencies cause fatigue, and they can cause fatigue. As far as if you're vitamin B deficient. So a lot of people are vitamin B deficient. A lot of people are anemic. That can cause fatigue in the body. Vitamin D deficient. Some people are glutathione deficient and have no idea. All of these things can be associated with how you feel, how you feel tired, whether you're restless, whether you can't sleep at night, all of these things. I actually am vitamin D deficient. And, well, I'm no longer vitamin D deficient now because I've been spraying. But prior to me spraying, I was vitamin D deficient. And I had no idea. And I had to actually request it to be ordered because my doctor wasn't going to order it for me. Because why? I had no history of vitamin D deficient. I had no thyroid issues. I didn't have high blood pressure. I was healthy. I was completely healthy. I had no other signs for them to say, okay, we're going to order this for you. But the only problem I was having these headaches. I mean, to the point where I was having them all day long, nonstop, for like weeks and weeks straight, day after day after day after day. It didn't matter how much sleep I got, and then, of course, if I didn't get enough sleep, if I wasn't sleeping 7-8 hours, I was still waking up with a headache. The only time I didn't feel a headache is when I fell asleep. But I would lie down with a headache and wake up with a headache. And I was concerned, so I went to the doctor. And, me knowing by that time I was just introduced to the sprays, me knowing that most Americans, 77% of Americans are vitamin D deficient and don't even know it. And then, of course, I am dark skinned. So, I am more prone to be vitamin D deficient. So I actually requested that. Everything came back normal except my vitamin D. And so I started spraying more. I didn't actually take the pills because she prescribed me a medication. And she was saying, okay, you have to sleep. When you take this, you have to sleep 8 hours. You have to sleep at least 8 hours. If you don't, you can't drive, you can't do any of things. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't know if this is possible because I'm always on the go. I have to break my sleep sometimes because I'm doing errands, doing this, doing that, and then one of the side effects of this was migraines, severe migraines. So why am I going to take something that's going to cause the same side effects of what I'm trying to treat? Absolutely not. So therefore, she informed me I was vitamin D deficient. And I was like, okay. So she prescribed the vitamin D. I was like, no, I'm not going to take that. I have, an oral spray that's 98% absorbent over that pill. So this is what I'm going to take. And for sure enough, my headaches went away. After spraying for so long, after 2 weeks of spraying, my headaches went away. They were completely gone. And I was so excited to the point where I wasn't tired. I wasn't fatigued. I was just back to my normal self. I can do things that I needed to do on a day-to-day basis because I was spraying consistently. I had plenty of energy. And, a lot of people are asking me, how do you go, throughout your day-to-day lives doing all of this? How can you train and go to work and do this and do that? And you have children. And I was like, I don't know. All I know is I'm spraying. I have a lot of energy, and the more I'm exercising, I'm eating right, and it works. That's all I can tell you. It works. If you treat your body right, it will be good to you. If you give your body what it needs, it will be good to you. It will do what it needs you to do. So that's very powerful. That's an awesome thing. Now, cells obtain energy from food and sunlight. Now, sunlight is the ultimate source of energy for almost all the cells in the body. And that is powerful. So that means a lot of us are not getting the proper sunlight that we need on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, we're not, because that's why 77% of Americans are vitamin D deficient. But guess what? That's why we have D power. And you can spray that on every day, and that's going to help reach those areas that we can't reach. These sprays are powerful because they can do so much. You know, we can get all the minerals and the nutrients that we need, especially because we're not getting it from the foods that we are consuming. So it's very important that if you spray, continue to spray. You're going to see the results that you want to see. Just stay consistent in whatever you do. And I'm going to close with this. Having a healthy mind is just as important as having a healthy body. So meaning, think positive in everything you do. Think health, think wealth, think positive. Thank you, Dr. Denise.
You know, I agree with you 110%. Shakina, think health, think wealth, think positive, because it's that positive thinking also that brings about, whatever, what I think Mel Gill said, whatever you think about, you bring about. But, Shakina, you were sharing that you were suffering with headaches. You went to the doctor. The doctor prescribed you a medication, and the side effects were headaches. Now, what type of wisdom is that? What type of wisdom is that? How can you go to the doctor and say, hey, look, doctor, I got these headaches, they won't go away. Okay, here, take this medication. But the side effects are headaches. And the sad thing about it is some people will go along with it because, they trust their doctors. They feel like the doctor knows what's best. And I love doctors, they're here for a purpose, they're here for a reason. But sometimes you got to use common sense there. Shakina, thanks for just sharing that. And fatigue. Fatigue is something that plagues a lot of people, and you kind of overlook it. Like, oh, you're just tired, you're working too much, you're doing too much. And it could be you're deficient. And if you're deficient, that's not good, because being deficient, it means your body is going to begin to suffer in other places. One thing we can say here at CMS Network, if we're faithful and dedicated to taking our sprays, one thing we can say is that we're not a part of that 100 million Americans that are vitamin D deficient. We can no longer say that. We are no longer vitamin D deficient. Last year, we were all of us, every last one of us, everybody was vitamin D deficient. And now we can no longer claim that. Our vitamin D levels are within normal range as a result of taking the 10 vitamin D power. Shakina, Dave, thank you for bringing all that to us. One thing, Shakina, you talked about the sugar levels that we consume, that we take on a daily basis. And I do notice one thing from taking the vitamin sprays, that I kind of lost my taste for fruit drinks, for fruit punch and things like that. And even soda, I really love to drink soda, pretty kept. But now it's like when I go to drink a soda, I can drink a little bit. But it's like, even when it comes to juice, I don't desire the sugar. It's like I can really taste the sugar in it. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's so sweet. But at one point, I was consuming 3 or 4 or 5 glasses of it a day. But now, like Shakina said, if you do good to the body's going to do good to you. Thank you once again, Shakina Day, for bringing all this wonderful information for our wisdom, for us to apply and to convert it to knowledge. Pastor Dell, you have anything for Shakina before we go out to Atlanta, today, Wednesday? Before we go out to the UK?
Well, I tell you, Shakina, though, once again, great job. You knocked it out of the park. It's always good to hear what's coming on Wednesdays, guys. You always bring some great stuff for us to contemplate, for us to think about, and it just lines up, with making great health convenient. When we think about things that she shares today on the call, it helps us to make better choices in what we do. And that's always good. More information that you have, the better choices you can make. Thanks again, Shakina. Great day. Great job.
I love it. I love getting all this knowledge and this wisdom. I tell you, it's worth it all. It's always good to know. It's always good to know. But then the choice is left up to you. Once you know, what are you going to choose to do? I hope you choose wisely, because information is being laid before you. Well, let's go out to the UK. Dr. Anita Poole, are you there with our comments and quotes for today?
I am here. Can you hear me okay, please?
Yes, I can. How are you today?
I am good, thank you. And my goodness, absolutely fantastic, Shakina. And fatigue, it's something that so many people around the world suffer from, whether they have an illness. Most illnesses, there's a fatigue element in there. And actually, most busy people have fatigue. Or most people who are not having the right diet, the right sleep, the right exercise, fresh air, sunlight, deficiencies, exactly as Shakina was saying, most of them do suffer from an element of fatigue. And my goodness, I know about fatigue. I have fibromyalgia following a meningitic toxic illness that was very, very dangerous some years ago, that literally I nearly died from. It happened very, very suddenly, and I went from really, really fit, running every day, tennis, at least once every fortnight, bringing up my kids as a single mum. They're grown up now. They're in their 20s. Working. I've done lots of different things, from medicine to textile buyer to venture capital around the City of London, to image consultancy, to teaching, to network marketing, to all sorts of different things. And I went from really fit and active and actually took my health for granted, basically, to very, very, very severe fatigue, really debilitating fatigue. And when people talk about fatigue, it's not just ordinary tiredness. It is gross. It affects your whole life, your social life, your working life, your, what you can do in the house, your mobility, all sorts of different things. And it affects your whole immune system, basically, because the more fatigue you have, the harder it is to cook the right things, the harder it is to have the right diet, the harder it is to exercise. Often fatigue illnesses actually affect your sleep, so it becomes a vicious circle. So you get even more tired. And in fact, fibromyalgia is a characteristic example of that, where you don't actually have deep sleep with fibromyalgia. So it's a vicious circle of not sleeping properly, then makes the fatigue worse. It affects your whole immune system. You can't exercise as much. You do get associated deficiencies because you can't be out in the sunlight enough. You can't have you can't shop enough to get the fresh food and vegetables. You can't cook the right things. You end up eating the fastest things. And in fact, you have sugar cravings. So all these things are counterproductive to fatigue. But the illness starts doing that, basically. And so it becomes a vicious circle. And then you get other associated disorders. So, for example, I went to very, very, very severe fibromyalgia. It then caused vitamin D deficiency. It also caused, a lot of inflammation. I was less mobile. I began having arthritis in my back and neck and joints. In fact, the vitamin D deficiency was quite severe, and it caused osteoporosis. It also, because with fibromyalgia, you have very stiff, weak muscles, and you actually have even an element of musculature in most organs, not just your skeletal muscle. You actually have a little bit in your blood capillaries and blood vessels, so it even affects your blood vessels. They kind of become stiffer, and so that causes high blood pressure. And that vicious circle, I was in that vicious circle basically, and I found it, no matter, and I've got a lot of willpower. No matter how much willpower I had, I couldn't get myself out of that circle, and no medication really helped me, basically. I was just on painkillers most of the time, anti-inflammatories most of the time. Sometimes I had to take sleeping tablets because I just had to have a good night's sleep. And you know what broke that cycle for me? What was it, Denise? Guess what?
10 vitamin sprays.
Absolutely. 10 vitamin sprays. Absolutely. I went, I lost 30 pounds in just a few months. I was able to get back into the pool and then gradually build it up. Gradually in the gym, I was able to start walking again. The D-Power actually helped my vitamin D3 levels, which were very low. They were, they were low at about 30, basically, and 2 years of vitamin D3 tablets actually only brought it up to about 40. When I got hold of the D-Power, I stopped the D tablets. I just took the D-Power. Within 6 months, my level was over 100. That is proof, folks. My B12 level doubled. I began to have more energy. Obviously, losing the weight helped. Exercising helped. But that's because of the TEN sprays. It gave me the energy to exercise. The 5-HTP helped my sleep, basically. And, of course, being more active, it then helped me get out into the sunshine, etc. And, I, like Denise, I lost my sugar cravings. I was able to eat healthier, basically. So, there's a characteristic story. And, here's the other proof, folks, because I made the mistake of a few months ago stopping the TEN sprays because I thought I was doing, I thought I was doing good. In the UK, we don't quite have the customer packs yet. That will come later. And I needed to build up a little bit more stock, basically. And so I thought, I don't need these. I can keep them for people to try them, etc. And, that 2 months, I have gone backwards, basically. You can probably hear I've actually got a cold now. I didn't have a cold on the TEN sprays for 1 year. Yes, fibromyalgia, you do have relapses, so I'm not saying I've got rid of the disorder. I do have relapses, but they aren't as severe when I'm on the TEN sprays as they were without them, basically. And now, having come off the TEN sprays when I shouldn't have, really, but obviously I had to try it out, it's the first cold I've had for, a year, basically. And, of course, that's caused a throat infection. It's caused a viral flu. I went to a networking event recently. I spoke to 50 people in 2 days, and that just caused my voice to a throat infection, basically. Now, had I built up my resistance, and obviously it's the winter, fibromyalgia, and most illnesses tend to suffer worse. Your immune system is low, so it's struggling more in the winter time. And, of course, all these things came together. And, of course, my resistance wasn't high enough, basically. So I went backwards, and now I've got a cold, and I'm struggling with flu, and the fibromyalgia's got worse, and the sleep is worse, and I've put weight on again, and I've not been able to exercise properly. So that is a story that completely, thoroughly describes what Shakina's saying has so much validity. And glycemic index, yes, folks, extremely important glycemic index, basically. So if you're not sure about glycemic index, just look it up on Google. But, those are the foods. It's the foods, basically, that give you a sustained level of glucose rather than the high and then the low. And, of course, energy drinks, what do they give you? Artificial stuff, no good nutrition, a high and then a low. Who's being misled by energy drinks? Actually, the whole population, and particularly the young, because it's marketed in a young, hip, cool manner, basically. So we've really got to help people with their nutrition. There are many things happening around the world which show that our TEN sprays, it's not just my testimonial, it's loads of people's testimonials, basically. And what's happening around the world, literally, people need these TEN sprays. Half the parents are concerned about inactive kids, especially teenagers. That was a statistic just recently. Headlines, fatties and the super fit are neck and neck in the heart clinic sprint, basically. That's saying that it's not only the overweight and obese, but the marathon fit that are overtraining are actually causing problems to their heart. And people are so confused about what is really good nutrition. Often these people are taking energy drinks, and they're taking things that they thought was healthy, like a juice. And a juice actually is still a processed thing. Even if it says on it fresh juice, a juice is only made with the same taste in that carton by extracting the juice, so you're losing the fiber, so you're increasing the glycemic index, which is not what you want to do. It's then concentrated, even if it says not from concentrate, the water is taken out of it so that it's stored, and then later on the water is added back to it. The flavors are added back to it so that the brand can have a particular flavor. And so the whole thing basically is processed. It's just not called processed. There is nothing being sold that is actually fresh juice without added stuff, unless you actually juice it yourself and you see it made in front of you. And in fact, even if you're juicing it, you're still losing the fiber. I've said before, the healthy way to take an orange juice is to have the orange. Just cut the orange up and eat that, basically. If you have food in the way nature made it, that is the healthiest possible. So yeah, people are very, very confused. You know, they say it's going to get worse. In fact, we're moving towards a luxury automated world where artificial intelligence and algorithms is going to control so many different things, whether it's the appliances in your house, your computerization, your watch, your clothing with technology imprinted into your clothing. And you know, people think it's going to save time, but actually people are going to get lazier. The professional classes they're saying are actually going to be made redundant because of technology. But even worse, people's health is going to suffer because they're going to have less exercise, less sleep. It's going to be more rat race. They're going to get more confused about nutrition. They're going to be more gullible about what's marketed to them. And they're going to be losing their jobs. What do we have in the TEN sprays? We have natural, high absorption oral nutrition with wealth too. So, you know, that's even an answer to some of those issues. So it's absolutely huge what we've got in our hands. Mel Gill's call was absolutely incredible. I have no doubt whatsoever. And, you know, Dale, Denise, Kevin, Vicky, you know, many of us, Mr. T, so many of us who have known Mel Gill for a long time, Mel and Amy Gill, known Team Effort International for a long time, we know when Mel hints at something or Amy hints at something, and when they have something new coming, it is totally unique and revolutionary. It's totally cutting edge. So, you know, folks, no one who's even trying to copy us is anywhere close to us. In fact, they're at a dangerous place. I saw one testimonial of a company that think it's got some sprays. Actually, the stuff that's in it, I would never put in my mouth. That stuff really, there's some serious negative effects that can be got in some people from that stuff. And you know what? People are really gullible, because I even saw a testimonial of a lady using it who's pregnant and doesn't realize that actually that stuff, she may think it's giving her energy, but you know, a lot of it is hype. But most importantly, that stuff is going through the placenta to the baby. And that's what you don't want. Some of that stuff is even hormonal that's going to the baby. So, you know, you need to, when you look at nutrition, you need to be with a really, really good company, proven products, safe products, and a proven track record company, and owners who really want to put out great quality, safe stuff, and be there for the long term. And that, I have no doubt, is Team Effort International and Team Effort Network. So folks, you know, what Nikisha's talked about today, incredibly important: diet, incredibly important. In fact, excess calories are one of the main causes of liver disease because of the buildup of fat in the liver. So it's not just what you see on the outside, folks, it's what's happening on the inside. And that's why TEN nutrition really, really matters. It's what's going inside. So Zig Ziglar said, I don't care how much power, brilliance, or energy you have or have not, if you don't harness your energy and focus it on a specific target and hold it there, you're never going to accomplish as much as your ability warrants. So folks, wherever we are on the energy level, wherever we are on the fatigue level, we do have some energy. Let's harness it, let's focus it, and point it in the direction of TEN. And if you think, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, think of Van Gogh, the great painter. He said, if you hear a voice within you saying you can't paint, then all you have to do is, by all means, just tell it, paint. And that voice will be silenced. So, folks, you know, Mel Gill's call, take note. Like Denise said, don't bother about going onto Google to find this and find that. Basically, you won't find it. This is what's coming is totally revolutionary. But I suspect a few things that are going to happen, and I have a great intuition that this is going to open up a whole new door, because the sprays market is one door. This is going to be another door, and it's going to be a massive global door. Mel said high absorption. There's only a few other ways that have high absorption, and that other way is like the sprays way. The sprays way, there's still hardly much on the market in terms of sprays. TEN is actually the leader in terms of what it's brought out, the quality, the type of ingredients, the testimonials, and what's behind it. And there's more to come on the sprays. The other door, I suspect, is going to be like, if it's what I think it is, and there's no point us trying to, guess what it is, but there's only a few other ways of high absorption, folks, which are not injections. And those ways are not being exploited yet. In fact, there's very little on the market, and Mel is opening up a new door. I have no doubt about it. So you've got something huge you already had with sprays. Now you've got something even more huge coming, and the two together, oh my goodness, folks. Take this seriously. Back to you, Denise.
I agree with you, Dr. Poole. Take it seriously. Enlarge in your tent family. When you come, wherever you have in your TTP, I'm telling you, you want to start looking for a larger space right now, because what we're going to bring back from Las Vegas, your TTPs and wherever you hold them now, it's not going to be enough space to contain the people that's going to want to come and be a part of what we're doing. And it's like Mel Gill said, we're making great health convenient. And we are. When you think about it, when you think about where your health is now, based on where your health was last year, I mean, look at how many doctor's appointments you didn't have to go to since you've been on the sprays. So isn't it convenient that you no longer have to wait in the doctor's waiting room? That you don't have to wait on call trying to schedule an appointment. That you don't have to go to radiology waiting for x-rays. You don't have to go to CVS waiting in the line to get a prescription. Those things are inconvenience. You don't have to wait in traffic driving to the doctor. You don't have to spend your money on parking, going to the doctors. You know, you save a lot of money. You save a lot of money in health care. You don't have to worry about being sick in the bed. You know, all those things are inconvenient. But guess what? Our slogan for this year, 2015, making great health convenient. I'm telling you, family, Mel Gill and Amy Gill are bringing this movement. Let's remember, it is a movement, and movement changes people's lives, and we are at the forefront of this. You ought to be happy about where you are. You just ought to thank God that somebody thought about you and introduced you to Team Effort Network, because Team Effort Network is looking out for you and your future and the future of your family. Family, it's been a great call, Shakina Day. Thank you so very much. Pastor Dale, do you have any closing remarks before we close out?
1 week left, guys. I'm excited. Looking forward to seeing everybody in Vegas.
1 week. Get your tickets. You best be in the house. Get there, get there. Don't forget tonight, join Don, Joseph, and Lloyd Gibson and Renetta Hall on the call tonight. I know now this is going to be Don's first call since we had that call from Mel Gill on Monday. So I can imagine how that team is going to blow it up tonight on the call. So if you had guests that couldn't make it to the morning call, get on the call tonight with Don Joseph. His call is at 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific. That's 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tune in and hear the excitement and the passion of what's going to be shared on that call tonight. Also be reminded that call is also on Sunday evening. So if you need a weekend boost, get on that call Sunday evening. Well, family, you know what we do now? Get off this phone, go to work, get out there and share. Start telling people we're going to make great health convenient. Get their curiosity up. Get them asking questions. Let them know you're going to something next week that is going to change the world. Get off this phone and go to work, family. You got to share. Be back with us tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And know this, you are loved and you are greatly appreciated. Take care of this phone and go to work. God bless you all. Have a blessed day on purpose. Mwah.